So someone called me to help me. And within 5 minutes, I felt like I was on trial. Every time I pinned down exactly what he said, he told me I took it out of context. Okay. Every time I asked him for the context, he changed the subject and said it didn't matter. We went around that loop for 30, 45 minutes. And then at the end of the call, my boss texted me and said the conversation wasn't very fruitful. So I had a choice to make: tell my truth or keep my job. And this video is about what I decided and what I learned about manipulation, workplace politics, and why staying quiet is sometimes the most powerful thing you can do. So here's the context. I'm relatively new at a company. I'm in client success. I contract for this company, manage about 40 clients right now, on my way to 80, building systems, grinding, figuring it out. A veteran colleague, let's call him C, reaches out and says he wants to hop on a call to help me. Cool. I'm coachable. Let's go. Except the call doesn't start the way I expected. Before we even get into work stuff, C starts profiling me, asking about my childhood, my relationship with my mom, what kind of person I am, and how that's up for debate and what he's going to decide. And I'm sitting there like, okay, I go with it because maybe this is just his style. Maybe this is how he connects with people. And then he says it after friction and arguing. He goes, yep, I've determined what type of person you are. And something in me just like stops, because here's the thing. When someone says that to you, especially someone who's supposed to be in your corner, it doesn't land as neutral. It lands like a verdict. So I asked him what he meant by that, and that is when the loop started. I want you to understand the specific mechanics of what happened next, because this is the part that matters. I said, "What did you mean when you said that?" And he said, You're taking it out of context, Paul." I said, "Okay, what's the context?" He said, "It doesn't matter. Let's move on." I said, "It matters to me. What did you mean?" He repeats, "You're taking it out of context, Paul." I go, "Okay, so what is the context?" He goes, "I've explained it 3 times, Paul. You're not listening." Do you see what just happened? He made a statement. I asked him to explain it. He said I misunderstood. I asked him to clarify the misunderstanding. He said it didn't matter. I said it mattered to me. He said I wasn't listening. At no point did he ever actually answer the question. And here's what makes this sophisticated. He didn't just deflect, he escalated. And this is a pattern to get you to ignore the deflection. So while telling me I was misunderstanding him, he started saying things like, "You're going to be my downfall. We're just going to have a shit relationship. I don't know how to talk to you." And then this is the part that broke my brain. When I flagged those comments and said, "Hey, that doesn't feel good to hear," he says, go ahead and take a guess at what he says. "You're taking that out of context too." So now I'm sitting here defending myself against the original comment and defending myself against the comments he made while defending himself against me defending myself. This is a masterclass in circular manipulation. I do not care if it was intentional or not. That is what it was. After the call, my boss texted me, said the conversation wasn't fruitful, which means C had already given him his version. And I had a decision to make. I could go into that conversation with my boss and tell my full truth, play the recording, name the manipulation, say everything I just said to you. Or I could do what my roommate suggested, walk in, own my side, keep it professional, protect my position, and fight another day. And I'm not going to lie to you, I wanted to burn it down because there is something deeply, it's the most satisfying feeling about the idea of truth telling regardless of consequence. Fuck the politics, fuck the optics, my truth over everything. Because I used to not live that way. I used to live in complete opposite. So now, my truth over everything, and I felt that. But then, I asked myself an honest question. Is this about truth or is this about pain? Because those are two different things. Pain wants relief right now. It doesn't care what it costs you tomorrow. Real truth telling is strategic. It's measured, it lands, it creates actual change. Unloading on your boss in week 6 of a new job because a colleague was manipulative on a phone call, that's not truth telling, that's pressure release. And it wouldn't have changed C. It wouldn't have educated my boss. It just would have been over fast. So I made a choice, right? And this is what I'm going to do because I haven't had the conversation yet, but I'm going to go into the conversation with my boss this upcoming week. I'm going to lead with my side of the story, right? Or I would have led with my side of the story and I would have said, I know the call wasn't productive, but here's what happened from my perspective. Or excuse me, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go into the conversation and I'm going to lead with my side of the story. And I'm going to say, hey, I know the call wasn't productive. Here's what happened from my perspective. I'm going to acknowledge where I got defensive. I'm going to own the parts that were mine to own. I'm going to reference the actual coaching content from the call, the stuff about, reading the room, emotional attunement, the client situation that C broke down for me, and show that I received that it landed. And then cleanly, without making it an attack, I'm going to set a boundary. And I'm going to say, I'm completely open to feedback on my performance, but I'd prefer to keep coaching conversations focused on professional development rather than personal history. I'll think, I'm going to be a lot more coachable that way. No accusation, no drama, just a line. And that's what I'm going to do. And it's going to make me look self-aware instead of defensive. It's going to demonstrate that I can actually take the feedback without making personal. And it's going to plant a flag professionally, calmly, that says I know my worth and I know it's appropriate. C's behavior is now on record with me. If it happens again, I have a pattern. I have documentation. I have a recording I never had to play. And the quiet move is sometimes the power move. So here's what I took from all of this. Manipulation in the workplace rarely looks like a villain twirling a mustache. It looks like someone who speaks too fast, gives you too much context, makes you feel like every time you try to pin something down, you're the problem for trying. The loop is the tell. When someone deflects, escalates, then redirects blame in the same breath, that's not a miscommunication, that's a pattern. And the hardest part is that sometimes the person doing it is also genuinely trying to help you. Both things can be true. The coaching was real, the manipulation was also real. People are complicated. What matters is knowing the difference between absorbing the useful parts and letting the toxic parts rewrite your reality. I absorbed the coaching. I'm not going to let the loop rewrite my reality. And I still have my job. So, if you've ever been in a conversation where every time you try to get clarity, you ended up more confused, you're not crazy. That's what it feels like. That specific kind of disorientation is information. Okay? So I'll see you in the next one.